Deng Xiaoping is a great man. He fought a great revolution. He saw the product of that revolution turn sour. He was fortunate to live long enough, and he had the courage to say, no, we change course. Let's learn. Let's stop trying to do everything by ourselves. So they started importing and buying Boeing 707s. So they bought Tridents instead of trying to manufacture their own aircraft. Eventually they will, but it will take 2, maybe 3 generations. That's how we succeeded, because we have open minds, common sense, a lot of analysis, careful weighing of the odds, make a firm decision, monitor it, implement it, modify as it goes wrong, abandon if it is no good.
Life is what you make of it. You're dealt a pack of cards. Your DNA is fixed by your mother and your father. And you may be siblings, but you may get different parts or parcels of the DNA. Your job is to make the best of the cards that have been handed out to you. What can you do well? What can you not do well? What are you worse at? Now, if you ask me to make my living as an artist, I'll starve. Because I just can't draw. It wasn't in my father or my mother or my great-grandfathers and grandmothers. But if you ask me, to do a mathematical question, or to argue a point out, I'll get by. That's the cards I was handed out, and I make use of them. Don't try and do something you were not favored by nature to do.
I can tell you that when I met the SIA pilots, I didn't meet them on TV, I met them face to face. So 5 feet across the table so they can see me and see whether I'm still vigorous, able to campaign and take them on, whether it's worth taking me on. And I offered them 2 choices. Either you argue, you stop this intimidation, which is what it was, bringing SIA right down, disrupting services, ruining its reputation, millions of dollars worth of advertisements and sales ruined within a matter of 2 weeks. I gave them a choice. Continue this, and I will, by every means at my disposal, teach you and get the people of Singapore, help me teach you a lesson you won't forget. And I'm prepared to start all over again. Or stop it. Get back to work, restore discipline, then argue your case. Took them 65 minutes. And they decided, okay, it isn't worth the fight. Why? Because they know they'll lose. They know that I'm prepared to ground the airline. They know that I can get the airline going again without them. And let there be no mistakes about this. Whoever governs Singapore must have that iron in him, or give it up. This is not a game of cards. This is your life and mine. I've spent a whole lifetime building this. And as long as I'm in charge, nobody's going to knock it down. We have so much at stake.
We have gone so far to secure the country. I say rally around and keep these evil forces. You see, they are so ashamed of themselves, they have switched the light off. Look at that. They are cowards, that's what they are. Cowards. They switched the lights off. Look at that. Are these men who are going to lead you to peace and prosperity or to ruination and perdition? Look at them. God knows what they are doing in the dark. When I say this, they succeed on the basis of intimidation. And I say, if they make the error that we are easily intimidated, then they have a lot to be sorry for. Because, you know, we have so much at stake, we can't afford to be intimidated.
Why do you have so little faith in the ability of your people, so well educated, to make intelligent judgments on diversity of ideas, on competing news?
I have been in office for now 29 years. I have won 7 general elections since my first in 1959. I think that qualifies me at least to be able to say that I do know Singapore better than the questioner.
Your father and grandfather's generation lived a hard life. Very few people had homes of their own. In Chinatown, you have cubicles, 8 or 10 people in the room, sharing 4 bunks, because they do shift work, save money. So if you lived in those conditions and you get a flat, 1 room, which is what we started with, communal bathroom, communal kitchen, running hot and cold, water closet. That's from the lowest depths of the ship to a deck with a window with a pothole and air coming in. And from that to go to a 3-room or 4-room or 5-room flat, you go up to the higher levels of the ship. And finally now we've got executive flats and condominiums. That means you're on a cruise ship at the very top. Now, I have watched my grandchildren grow up, and they are growing up much more comfortably than my children. My wife and I made sure that they became self-reliant and not somebody who will pick up their balls for them. As Prime Minister, I was given a house at Sri Temasek, so I took them there one day to play. And Sri Temasek is on high ground. They're playing with the ball rolled down. And the butler ran about 50 or 60 yards to pick up the ball and bring it back. My wife and I watched that and said, no. If we stay here for 5 years, my children will grow up believing that life is like that. And that somebody will always pick up balls for them. We stay at home. And I think that's been good for them. And that is the problem we face today. Many of the parents who are in these HDB flats started like the people in Chinatown. They understand what it is to be poor. Today's children do not understand what it is to be poor. But you can intellectually and emotionally understand that if you don't make the same effort, you go back to where you were.